Greetings, students. We have a fun one today. I want to talk about stage magic and contrast a little bit with what we're looking at as far as other types of magic. In fact, you could make the distinction that we'll be talking about today is fantastical magic or fantasy magic, and the magic rituals that we're going to be studying are real magic that people actually do that might be fake or might not work, but they're not illusions. Whereas stage magic is about manipulating the senses of the audience to believe something that they know is not real is real. Or if you're like me, I love stage magic. And I've gone out of my way to not really understand its secrets. I'd entertain the notion of like doing some close magic and whatnot in my kind of time. But then I realized I just don't want to understand how stage magic works because I enjoy watching it so much. And maybe I would enjoy it more if I could figure out the tricks and appreciate the elegance of it. But I like to just stand and wonder and not be able to figure things out. But hey, that's me. All right, so let's get going here. We're going stage magic. This is so exciting today. When I've taught this course in the past, I didn't really go into stage magic. I just kind of said, that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at something else. But the more I've thought about it, there's no way to really completely separate out stage magic and illusion from what we see in the magic rituals that I'm calling pragmatic ritual technologies, which are small rituals, I guess they could be big, but relatively small rituals done by few people, if not one person, that cause specific changes in the world that are pragmatic, that are not leaning towards salvation of the soul or turning the sorcerer into a godlike being or something, but just, getting the girl and getting the bucks and finding the lost goat. All right, so stage magic and fantasy magic. So cutting a woman apart, levitating on the screen. In recent years, you've seen people like David Blaine or that horrible Chris Angel guy and whatnot that have a lot of TV shows. I quite like the Netflix show Magic for Humans because it's mostly close-up magic, and it's a magic that I find sort of delightful. But within all stage magic is the fantasy that magic is real. And stage magic takes an audience who knows magic isn't real, who knows the people that are performing do not have magic powers, but then does something amazing, something fantastic, something you couldn't think is real, but isn't real. It's an illusion, but then you stop and go, how did that happen? And part of the joy is not ever resolving that. How did that happen? Okay, so the history of stage magic, which is a class in and of itself, and I recommend you to look into it at some time. It's really a fascinating history of not only performance, but I would even call it, we're using this term occulture, a culture of the occult. So it's part of the occulture because one, it's secretive. Occult means secretive. The techniques are secret. Magicians vow to never reveal their magical tricks to audiences or to non-magical people, to the civilians. So that's secretive. But they also trade in secret powers, fantastic things, and whatnot. And I would argue that there's a sort of sense of the fantasy of stage magic is also in the same type of thinking as, believing that magic rituals work and performing magic rituals. Okay, so in stage magic, kind of the earliest things you start seeing is sleight of hand, prestidigitation, and legerdemain. These are all great words. So sleight of hand, I do this thing with my hand, so you don't see that I'm doing a thing with my other hand, and I have something kind of fantastic happen. Prestidigitation, just look at the word digit, like your prestidigitation. So it's doing kind of kooky things with your hand. And legerdemain, which sounds like a legal term, but actually does mean sleight of hand stage magic.